This is Monty Reed, and today we're going over Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 is on faith, visualization of and belief in attainment of desire, the second step towards riches. There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. Both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. Faith and fear are the same power. Fear is negative, faith is positive. How to develop faith. Autosuggestion assumes in the transmutation of desire into its physical or monetary equivalently. Namely, faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instruction to the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. The subconscious mind does not know the difference between truth and fantasy. And if you repeat it to yourself enough, especially if you record it in your own voice, if you repeat it to yourself enough, you will believe it. Repetition of affirmation of orders to the subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. And this comes to an important thing. If you think that you do not have the faith that it takes to believe that you can achieve something that will help create the desire, I recommend that you will do this repetition of affirmation. But in addition to that, I also recommend that you pray. Because in my experience, when I had broken my back and I was suffering, I remember meeting with the pastor. And I just told the pastor, I didn't feel that I had enough faith to be healed. And the next thing that my pastor worked with me on was to pray and ask God to give me the faith. And so I actually prayed to receive faith as a gift. And in addition to that, you can do this repetition of affirmation. And you repeat it enough over and over, and then you start to believe it. And that will also strengthen your faith. In connection with this, consider again the statement, all thoughts which have been emotionalized or given feeling and mixed with faith begin immediately to translate themselves into their physical equivalent or counterpart. It's the feeling portion of the thoughts that actually gives the thoughts vitality, life, and action. The emotion of faith, love, and sex, when mixed with any thought impulse, give it greater action than any of these emotions can do singly. Thought impulses which have been mixed with faith, but those which have been mixed with any of the positive emotions or negative. And it's important to recognize that there are millions of people who believe themselves doomed. And because they believe it, they attract bad luck. Do you know somebody that's constantly being in car accidents? Do you know somebody that's constantly getting sick? Do you know somebody that's constantly being fired or laid off, having problems at work? Usually it's because they focus on the little bit of problem they had, and so they get more of those problems. It's part of the brain's reticular activating system. Somebody who has a car accident and focuses on car accidents will have more car accidents. Somebody who has successes and focuses on those successes will have more. And the beautiful thing is, if you've never had anything that you consider successful, you can use autosuggestion to make your mind believe that it's true, and it will be so real that it'll seem like a memory. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced by autosuggestion. Tony Robbins always talks about change your state. You don't need him. You can do it yourself if you will just do the auto-suggestion. And then this is one, I put 3 stars next to this, that faith is the external elixir which gives life power and action to the impulse of thought. Faith is the basis of all miracles. It is a well-known fact that one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or false, and that is real. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions constitute a magnetic force which attract other similar related thoughts. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed which when planted in fertile soil germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until that which was originally one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. The human mind is constantly attracting vibrations which harmonize with that which dominates the mind. Any thought, idea, plan, or purpose which one holds in one's mind attracts a host of relatives, adds these relatives to its own force, and grows until it becomes the dominating, motivating master of the individual in whose mind it has been housed. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through the repetition of thought. This is why you are asked to write out a statement of your major purpose or definite chief aim, commit it to memory, and repeat it in audible words day after day until the vibration of sound reach your subconscious mind. This is the self-confidence formula. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward this attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture. Third, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for this attainment. Finally, fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me. Because of my willingness to serve others, I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith, and it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. Is the man who thinks he can. What genius lies asleep in your brain? The seed of achievement is somewhere sleeping in your brain. Arouse the genius which lies asleep in your brain. Abraham Lincoln was a failure at everything he tried until he was well past the age of 40. He was a Mr. Nobody from nowhere until a great experience came into his life, aroused the sleeping genius within his heart and brain, and gave the world one of its really great men. That experience was mixed with the emotion of sorrow and love. It came to him through Anne Rutledge, the only woman who he ever truly loved. And the author's research with all of the years and years, I think over 20 years of research he did, he found that the majority of the successful men had the influence of a woman's love back, nearly every single one of them. For details, you want to get the book and read this. It is an account dramatically told by John Lowell in the New York World Telegram, with whose courtesy it's been reprinted. So it's actually in the book, so you don't have to go look it up. You can just get Think and Grow Rich and read it here. And he basically talks about a pretty after-dinner speech for $1 billion. And it was by Charles Schwab, and in the audience were 80-some millionaires. I think there was 100 in the room. John P. Morgan, J.P. Morgan, probably heard of him. And it goes on to tell how this simple speech was told, but there was a lot of work that went into it and a lot of emotion behind it. And bottom line, he asked Carnegie to sell for $320 million. That was over 100 years ago. There was over 80 millionaires in the University Club at the time. And at the end, they did the transaction for $400 million. And here's the amazing thing. Later on the deck of the transatlantic liner, the Scotsman, said ruefully to Morgan, "I wish I'd asked you for 100 million more." "If you had asked for it, you'd have gotten it," Morgan told him cheerfully. Over a profit of over $600 million. So faith. The next chapter we're going to be talking about will be autosuggestion. This is Monty Reed. Think and grow rich.